log into gyroscopemeet.com, the hottest online radio station in the world. GS Radio all day, all night, worldwide. Powered by Gyroscope Media Group, LLC.
GS Radio, the best internet radio station worldwide. Providing the best in music and talk shows. Go to www.gsradionj.com and check out the best internet station in the world. You're listening to GS Radio, internet radio station powered by GMG, LLC.
All right, y'all, what's up? It's Marlon Randolph, and welcome to another episode staff meeting. I believe this is episode number 4. My name is Marlon, man. We in the building. Let me breathe. We in the building. I got some technical issues. That's why I'm a little stressed out in my white beater. Why do they call these white beaters? Actually, it's like a Target, Walmart / Primark. Actually, Primark. 17 of them for $10. I know y'all probably don't have Primarks in y'all hometown, but we got them here in Brooklyn. I think they starting to spread around. It's like a cheap-ass store where all the clothes are made in Bangladesh for like $2, and you can just pretty much don't wear it but once. If you put it in the dryer, it's all children place clothes. Put it like that. But if you're on a budget, Primark is the place to be. All right, let me stop before they look at this and then try to just kind of lawsuit. Everybody's sensitive these days with lawsuits and everything, but I'm happy y'all in the building. We got so many good things to talk about, but before we get into our show, I got to bring in our guest, man. We had to welcome him back because last week his dialogue was on point. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all, first, well, let me bring in our regular guy on staff meeting, and then we'll bring in our guest. On my left-hand side, I'm sure by the time y'all see this, he'll be like at the bottom or the top. I'll be looking at the videos and noticing we all over the place. This gentleman right here, man, hails from Teaneck, New Jersey, man. Eastern Mason, one of the baddest DJs in the tri-state area. Ladies and gentlemen, please show some love and give it up for my man, DJ Chalk is in the building.
You've been getting the towns wrong, man.
It's not Teaneck, it's Inglewood, right?
Inglewood.
You know why I get them towns wrong? Because as soon as you cross George Washington, I feel like, oh, that's you.
Yeah, Inglewood. So you're going to hit Fort Lee first, then Inglewood, then Teaneck, then Hackensack. Then Paramus, if you go further on the north. Secaucus is further, further.
That's where the stadiums are.
That's where the stadiums, yeah.
Yeah, and that's all Colombian. You know, that's a whole Colombian town.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I learned that when I used to perform over there. I'm like, what kind of Puerto Ricans are these?
Mm-hmm.
And then they would tell me, they're like, yo, we Colombian, man. There ain't no Puerto
Ricans over there.
Yeah, there ain't no Puerto Ricans over there. We straight Colombian. I'm like, what's the difference? They're like, what do you mean, what's the difference? Are you Jamaican? But anyway, that's one thing about New York. You're going to find out today. In this tri-state area, you're going to find out today because everything over here is so multicultural, man. All right, so how you doing, Chuck? You good?
I'm all right, man. I'm all right.
All right. Now, when you say I'm all right like that, that means that either family stuff going on or you broke. Or both?
Well, I'm always broke. Nah, just I'm all right. Just you know how life throw you situations, and just gotta figure. Yeah, keep you on your toes.
It's always a curveball.
That's all. But I'm good. I'll be good.
My man. All right. I like that lighting. How you got that lighting like that? So is that the lighting coming down on you, coming from that lighting in the ceiling?
In the ceiling, yeah.
That's dope. I like that because it's kind of like it got your bottom half dark and then your upper side is like kind of lighting with the hair and stuff. I kind of like that. That's dope. It's kind of sinister.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you was logging in at 12 o'clock.
And I can change the colors too.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
I see you got your shit from Primark too.
Yeah, I got Amazon all the way. Let's get it.
Get it. All right. Well, welcome back, brother. All right. Down at my bottom, he might be on the top. No dating. I hate that word. We're going to talk about that, too. Y'all know who this guy is, man. He hails from Washington, D.C., man. I would like to say I've known this guy. Those who don't know, I've known this guy at least 20-something years, man, since I've been here in New York. He grinds his way, man, through the whole comedy scene to the point that he started out doing one thing. He went from host to feature, the headliner, and the scaring comedians all over New York. And now this brother here, man. This brother, man. He hosts one of the best comedy clubs, man, in DC, man. The Comedy Loft. I'm gonna be back there, man, coming up. Guys, you ever get a chance, you gotta see him live, man. He go there, he take you there. Ladies and gentlemen, the very funny Lawrence Owens is in the building. Let's go.
My man, gentlemen. Start your engine.
I told myself I'm gonna put my head down, and I did it too.
Thank goodness you ain't had that light like y'all got to point it all out. You know what I'm saying? So, it's all good. That's why I wear this, Mom. That's why I wear this.
Oh my God! Hey man, well, guys. So big shout out to Abe. Big Abe is handling some business tonight, so he definitely wanted to be on. So we want to show him some love. Yeah, Abe is our regular, one of the regular members, man. So we're gonna show him some love. So guys, it's been an interesting week. So I'm starting to notice that podcasts. I knew podcasts was the biggest thing, but I'm starting to notice that television shows and networks are really struggling. And I say that because Obama was on a show called The Pivot, where he sat down with the three guys who do sports. He sat down with them yesterday. And this was the first time I think I've seen Obama kind of sit down with three other black men, and they just kind of have a conversation where it wasn't really a conversation. Obama talked the whole damn time because that's Barry. That's what Barry's going to do. The former president's going to just talk the whole time, and nobody else is going to get a question in. He's going to tell you about the kid. He's sitting there looking like grandpa. He's going to talk about the kids and how he met Michelle. Michelle looked younger than him. His European DNA is starting to take over.
Hey, but Marlon, did he answer any of the questions directly? Because he's the master at answering a question that you didn't ask. That's what I love about him. I've adopted that from him. You know what I'm saying? When it's time to hold yourself responsible, answer something else.
See, now Byron Donald, who on the MAGA side, I think he's a great deflector. Obama is not so much a deflector as much as you have to find the answer in his answer. Is that fair?
So he to me, that's like another Todd Lynn.
Like that's another Todd Lynn?
Yeah,
you gotta find, see when Obama, because with Obama, everything has context. If you say to him, do you like, ketchup? He's gonna go, well,
how ketchup was formed.
Yeah.
I asked Michelle.
Yeah.
I met Michelle in Harvard. All right.
Right. And then I had Heinz. Then when I met her, she started using Hunt's. And when
the texture of Hunt's was coming from the Hunt family. As you know, they own the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right.
One thing about the Chiefs, the Native Americans wasn't offended by their name.
Right.
As opposed to Redskins. I get it, man. I get it.
And after the Redskins, I looked at Hunt's and Heinz together and noticed that Hunt's was darker in blood. So you figure out which one I like. Even one guy, so you're like, all right, this ninja like Heinz, and he could have had that 15 minutes ago. But anyway, at least I can deal with that than deal with when you ask someone something directly and they go, well, let's talk about what you like. When they asked Byron Donald, they asked him about the rally that was at Madison Square Garden this week. They're asking Byron Donald about it, and the first thing out his mouth, well, we already distanced ourselves from him. Let's talk about the real issues that Americans want to deal with, which is what Kamala Harris policies are. Like that's his answer to everything. It's sort of like a Jedi mind trick.
I call that the BMS. That's baby mama syndrome. Anybody that got a baby mama, they famous for that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
taking it somewhere else and then try to put the onus of their emotion on you. So anything you say, you're emotional, you're wrong. You understand what I'm saying? So I get it, people like that, man. I try to stay away from cats like that.
The technical word for that is gaslighting.
There you go.
25 years ago, we didn't have a word called gaslighting. Now they use that it's being used like crazy. But if you think about it, people who twist your reality, your narrative, and your truth, I like gaslighting, because what else do you call a person that is twisting your truth? I like it. You're gaslighting. And those guys are great at it. So he sat with, and that's something Obama I didn't find that he did, but he's definitely good at kind of giving context to everything. He'll give context to context. Well, if you take the con from the text, he is definitely guilty of that. But he sat with Pippi. He sat with three black men. I really did love the conversation because we don't see that, and you could see in those guys as they were sitting there with him, they couldn't imagine their light looked like it was full, like it doesn't get better than this. And I watched it and I couldn't help but go, Robert F. Kennedy went on Mav Hoffa show in Harlem and he just trashed Kamala Harris. You can't go into a barbershop with a bunch of black men and trash Kamala Harris. So all I kept thinking was, did Mav get a bag? Like, why did he allow that? And then I'm sitting up looking at, Obama had to sit with a bunch of people and say, what do you think is the best podcast? Because that's where it's at now. Donald is at 38 million on Joe Rogan from this week.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala can't even get to 1 million from Shannon Sharp. So my question to you guys, did Kamala make the right decision going on Shannon Sharp? The floor is open.
I don't think so. Because Shannon Sharp has the controversy behind him from other interviews that he has done. And they put him in a bracket of having our colored people on there. You know, Spanish people, African American people. Okay, so he's not stepping out of the lane of going to, and they're not asking him to come. So
what do you mean asking who?
If you're going to do politicians, then reach out to all of them. Or
she's running. They not running. She's running.
Yeah, she's running, but what did she went on there? Why?
Probably because Donald Trump went on Joe Rogan. So instead of her going on Joe Rogan, she felt. So let me add a little bit more context. Kamala, when they sit down and look at numbers and they look at what Democrats did before she started running, they're able to go, this is a lockhole that Democrats have been able to have with certain amount of groups, black women, black men, Latino women, Latino men, like, because they ask you that, right? You on your own, like when you vote, they always ask you,
right,
you know, ethnicity,
right? And
that's how they do the numbers over the last year. Kamala seemed to be struggling with a lot of just Democratic votes that she should just have in a stronghold, which is minorities. Mm-hmm. So because they said they're polling that, I don't think it's true. They're polling that. So therefore, instead of her focusing on, let's say, a state where it's red, she's going to lose, she should really try to put the stronghold on these Democratic states, which is what she's been doing this week. So, you know, that's why she kind of went to Shannon, because talking to a black guy, there's a lot of rhetoric that, you know, black people are not supporting her the way that they did with the regular Democratic Party, which I think is BS as well.
Right.
I do. I just feel like,
it also can be what she wanted to do. Just like how you asked me to be a part of your show, I agree because it's you. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to have the ability to be me. Who's to say she don't go on Joe Rogan and he doesn't allow that? Or she got word or just got the feeling that he's going to come at her in a way of attacking. So, you know, people...
Like Brett Barr did.
Correct. So people are going to go where they're most comfortable and
where they feel safe.
Exactly, and be able to get their narrative out the best way possible.
But then at the same...
All things can be true. Go ahead, Chuck.
But at the same time, you can't always play it safe.
Right.
Like Matt Hoffa, come on. Like he said, a black barbershop in Harlem, and you're going to have Kennedy in there, who just...
That's because he got a bag, you know what I'm saying?
But still, he had the choice... Right, he had the choice to say yay or nay.
Right.
So you really think he having the choice to saying yay or nay? So
yeah.
Why would he say nay? Well, it's going to help him as far as his brand. It's going to help him as far as his numbers.
That just opened up his audience wider than what it was. You see what I'm saying? I'm
agreeing with you, but
right.
I'm opposing the point of he wasn't going to say no.
No,
He's saying he could have said no. I don't believe that he would have said no.
No, but it's still politics. Now you got a whole nother market looking at you.
I don't think he cares about that.
I think Matt Harvard did it because he got bills to pay and the numbers are low.
I agree. That's why I think he did it, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, but in return of him, even if he got the bag, okay, even if he got the bag, it's still a whole nother market that's basically now looking at him. He might have said, "Look, all right, you could come on, give me such amount of money for you to come on my podcast," because he knows in return they're going to follow Kennedy. So he was,
I think you're giving him too much credit. I don't think he said, "Give me a set amount of money." I think they came in and said, "We're gonna give you this for Kennedy," and he said, "We don't know." I'm just giving.
we don't. Right?
My perspective.
It could be.
It
could be.
I believe they said, "Here, got this for you. We're gonna bring on Kennedy," and then everything you said, I agree with as far as looking at our numbers. We're gonna, broaden. You know what I'm saying? My brand as far as that. I get all that. So,
right.
But to go back to your point of him saying he could have said no, that's true. I just don't think he would have.
Well, I mean, he didn't, for whatever his reasons were, he didn't, but he could have said no. He opted not to.
Right. And those guys, Kennedy, and some of the other guys who go on shows like that, they go on shows like that because they know that those guys really don't have the, I don't want to say education, but they don't have the right knowledge of politics to be sitting there with these guys. So these politicians can come in and dance around them.
So we make up for it by giving you a bag. That's how that works. Because you got to think, since I've been alive, I've come to the realization that the only time that these cats are coming to barbershops in our neighborhoods and schools is during election. Now, Kennedy was all year round, all 4 years leading up to this, going to barbershop. Okay, I get it.
Right.
But as always, when they want something from us, here they come. And we always accepting the bag, saying, all right, you can do that. I get it from his personal gain I'm talking about. But when is anybody going to step up and be like, nah, or do the best you can to say, if you coming on my show, I'm going to ask you this. Well, we don't like that, but then you ain't doing my show. You understand? I don't know. I'm just saying, I'm not in that situation. I'm just saying, I just wish maybe more people will be like, okay, use this as your advantage to maybe help us as well as you help yourself. I know that's a big ask, but they only come around when they need votes.
I think the people who are knowledgeable, you're right. And all things can be true, all three of us. I think the people who are political scientists in the game, I think that people who motives and intentions is to divide, stay away from those people on deliberately. They stay away from people who will challenge and can see right through the banana in the tailpipe. Bobby Kennedy is never going to go sit with, I don't even think sitting with Charlemagne. We brought this up before. I think that Charlemagne, for 4 years, he's constantly pointing out what the Democrats are doing wrong. He's constantly pointing out that the Democrats made this mistake by doing this. And Bill Maher. Every time Bill Maher and Charlemagne spend from election to election talking about what the Democrats did wrong, you might as well be talking about what the Republicans, or I don't even say Republicans, you might as well be talking about what the MAGA side has done right. You only have two choices. There aren't three or four. If you're going to constantly tear down one side, guess what's going to happen with the other side? He also sits with a guy named Andrew Schultz, who sits down and legitimize and humanize Donald Trump. And Charlemagne is a partner with him in a podcast. So sometimes I just wonder, man, if these guys, like even Charlemagne, who he seems smart and knowledgeable, but I wonder if he really understands how the divide and conquer game works. If he truly understands, or maybe he's just like Matt Papa and them because he works for iHeart, and then he's sitting in meetings saying, hey, here's a bag, but we need you to be able to keep your audience, so here's a political way to do it. And maybe that's why he does it, because iHeartRadio at the end of the day is owned by them people who want MAGA in office.
I mean, answer this for me. What person, and I don't care about race, just tell me what person who has been as fair as they could be across the board. I haven't seen it. It's just what you said. I've seen
When you
somebody.
say fair, we talking about that can interview one of them, or what? What are you saying? Is that
No, just like you said, I've seen people if they bash one side. I don't care if Democrat or Republican. Democrats don't do this, or somebody Republicans don't do that. I haven't seen anybody yet that be like the Democrats don't do this, but Republicans don't do that either. And just vice versa is what I'm trying to say. So me, my mindset, everybody get in the bag. That's how I think. I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, because if you're gonna continue to bash one side, then you mean to tell me that you're not on their team? That's all I'm asking. Now, if I was to do it, I'd be like, man, the Republicans ain't do this. Democrats ain't do this either. Republicans are strong in here. Democrats are strong either. To the best of my knowledge, to let you know, I'm just trying to point out what I believe is facts, as opposed to just trying to persuade anybody to just hate one political party for the other one. You know what I'm saying? Just cause. That's what I'm saying. I think they're all getting a bag. I just don't trust.
everybody's getting the bag, and it's very complicated because when George Bush got rid of the Fair Doctrine Act, there was a Fair Doctrine Act where if you talked about one what the party's doing, you had to talk about the other one. And this is when you had a show like Hannity and Combs. Hannity would be, Republican Combs, because you couldn't get on the airwaves in America and be so extreme with one party. It had to be fair and balanced. Well, George Bush, not Daddy, Jr., got rid of it. And that's what made Fox really explode. So I think you're just at a point now, man, where you talk about shows like CNN, The View. I just think that these people that come on there, I think that in order for producers to get them on the show, they have to agree to them not bashing them, or they can't come on the show. And then I think that gets in the way with ratings. I think that gets in the way with commercials. I just think that we've made these politicians celebrities because of these 24-hour news channels. If you didn't have CNN on 24 hours and MSNBC on 24 hours, then the amount of money these guys are making is ridiculous. Before them, you wanted to watch what was going on, it was world news at 6 o'clock. From 6 to 6:30 or 6 to 7 was world news, and 60 minutes on Sunday. That was it. And then if you want to know anything else, you picked up a paper, your choice. New York Post, Washington Post, Washington Street Journal, your choice, and you got your news from there. Now, man, I just think that we're at a place now, man, where the corporate interest owns all of the channels. They own the stations. They own the politicians. They own your information. They're the ones giving out the bags, and everybody got to learn to play the game if they want to get the bag. All of them. And you can tell that from people the way they talk. Charlemagne, he talks a certain way, then he go harder on Democrats than he does MAGA. And now he's trying to fix that. I feel like he's trying to fix it. And Kamala goes and have an interview with him, Charlemagne the guy, instead of sitting with real political scientists. Make it make sense.
And that's dangerous, man, for us, because they always pit us against each other, and we do it and fall for it every time, man. You know what I'm saying? Our freedom of speech is to be paid according to them. You know what I'm saying? That you want freedom of speech, take this bag, and it's going to be the speech that we provide for you to say. That hurts us even more. It does,
because black people live in echo chambers. If you think about the percentage of the people in the country, black people don't even scratch the surface. But black people are 99% on all of the news stations. And that's for a reason. It's almost like America has a secret security camera. You know how like everybody got Ring in their house to see if intruders are coming in their home? I feel like America is someone's home, and everybody's Ring is the news that comes on at every station. When I bought my TV, it came with like these free stations. So now I can get ABC in LA, CBS in LA, CBS in Philly, CBS in Milwaukee. Every state is giving me the same news. So sometimes I'll just go, let me see what that's going on in Milwaukee. Let me see what's going on in Indiana. I'm just flipping through. They all are just showing nothing but propaganda after propaganda of some black children or some black guy, or is it just us as monsters? And it's so crazy, bro, that we buy into it. That's why I mean echo chambers, because if we're turning on the news, I can always tell on Facebook when everybody's talking about the same thing, or somebody died, you say, oh, everybody rest in peace, or they're talking about something, because CNN or MSNBC put it up there, Everybody's watching it, and then they go straight to their phones to repost it.
Trending.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I just feel like we, outside of news networks, outside of church, outside of the schools, which all of the schools are poor and bad. Not all, I won't say all, but majority that's in poor neighborhoods. Where is the real fixing? So every time political season comes, Republicans are smart enough to always say, well, black men are the cause why Democrats lost, because black men are feeling some type of way. Any other time, they don't discuss you. And then when they have debates, they discuss you as criminals. They go, well, we're doing something for black people because we are going to get rid of such and such laws that got them all in jail. They're not talking about anything that can help you educational-wise, economy-wise. And then you have other immigrants who will say, well, we have those same issues. I work hard every day. I work hard, got my education. So that's why I say the propaganda machine don't focus on anybody else. We just talked about Colombians. We can talk about Bangladesh. We can talk about Kamala. We can talk about Jamaicans. We can talk about Italians, Irish. Go up the road. None of them are on the news. None of them are on the news. But these same people that don't want nothing to do with black people are being labeled eating dogs and cats. You heard what the dude said the other night. He said, we got a big old pile of garbage in the middle of the ocean. It's called Puerto Rico. And then Joe Biden said last night, the people who votes for MAGA is garbage. I don't see nothing wrong with both of them statements. I'm just bullshitting. But what I'm saying, but no, I got a Puerto Rican daughter, so I can't go down that route. But what I said to Lawrence earlier, why are all the Puerto Ricans so upset, and why are the black people are out there advocating for so many Puerto Ricans when we're constantly getting our head beat in, and no one is advocating for us?
Never.
Not on Facebook. AOC will say something here and there, but I don't. What I've seen on Facebook, I don't never see it when our head getting bashed in. And our head getting bashed in every other day.
But that should be more the reason why, and I mean, I honestly, maybe in the past 10 years, I'm going to say that I really started paying attention to politics. But for as far as what I see is still the mind frame of our people. It's like, to me, they saying this and they saying it boldly, they saying it loud, but it's like our people is like, oh, like when are you going to wake up? I mean, look at what we're doing now. We're doing the podcast. So now we can, everybody has a voice. My cousin works in the industry, and when we started this, and I said, this is something that I want to do. He said, listen, man, this thing is taking over so much where it's putting people out of jobs. Because what the stations are now, you can send footage into the station and they take it any type of way. Mm-hmm. Any type of way. Doesn't have to be crisp, doesn't have to be clean. Long as they get it, they're getting it. And he said they're pushing it down our throats in order for us to basically accept it. So to get back to what I'm saying about what's that, Matt Hoffa and all that stuff, where to me he had the choice. He had the choice. And the choice is, and you have to look at it. If we throw you a little cash, then you're gonna let us do this. Then where are your morals?
And you know what? That's why I think that's good that you said that. That's why you can't buy into this our people shit. All this black people, white people, you can't. All that's bullshit. Because in a capitalist society, racism only can exist in a capitalist society when you have bottom dwellers. Every society that's ever been built.
When you have black compliance.
What do you mean?
You know what compliance means, to comply. When you got people who be like y'all said earlier, now I got bills to pay. And they make that precedent as opposed to what he said, ethics and morals.
Well, okay, so in a society, if you have, you guys are right, but Fred Hampton mentioned this, if you have bottom dwellers, right, which when Meanie Amin, that dictator in Africa, what was that in Africa? Meanie Amin.
Uganda, right?
Was it Uganda? The way that he was able to take over is that he started telling all the people how the Indians were responsible for their suffering. Because they were, like if you go into Africa and stuff like that, you see a lot of Chinese, you see Bangladesh, you see Indian, and then a lot of them had stores and stuff like that, and some of the Ugandans didn't have it. So it got to the point he actually did turn the Ugandans against the Indians, where he was able to get into power. So it's some of the same things that Hitler did. He constantly kept saying all of your problems is because of Jewish people. So Trump is doing the same thing. And what I'm saying is that in a lot of societies, what happens is that the bottom dwellers, which in that case was Indians, and in that case, with Hitler case, he was trying to say it was with Jewish people. In here, the bottom dwellers are always the black people. That's why every political season, the conversation is always going to be about black people. Because if you can get majority of the people to stay turned against black people, that's how you keep the society floating. Now, to bring it back to Matt Hoffa and what Chuck is saying, and what you're saying is, I think because racism plays such a huge role with capitalism in a capitalist society, that even in circumstances such as Matt Hoffa's, I just think that capitalizing is always going to come before race. Because that's the society you live in. It's just like Monopoly. When we all play Monopoly, you looking at somebody's skin color, or you looking at the fact they landed on your boardwalk pavement. You landed on I own Boardwalk and Park Place. I own this whole block. For a matter of fact, let me see what you got left. Then you got to go to jail, get out the game, and that's what America is. And what were they capitalizing on when they had no more? When the Indians were all dying from diseases, and they had bring us over after all the Indians died. What was the whole purpose of it? To capitalize on what? Free labor. So we still there. Why do you think all the illegal immigrants are here? We do the labor that you're not going to do for $2 a day to pick apples. That's how they make their money. At one point, America was providing the entire war of cotton, and the South was getting paid. You hear me? The South was like, our Negroes are happy. They singing all day. Y'all not getting ready to take our Negroes away. And they took guns up against the army for trying to take their guns away because of capitalist society. So I think that Matt Hoffa and a lot of other guys, the rappers, which I would like to go into that next, I think that they don't look at morals. They just look at the bag.
I agree. Backlash for me, that's what I've been saying. I agree.
So what comes first? The moral.
But it's sad. It's sad.
It gotta be in you, man.
It's sad.
It gotta be in you. Because we all are walking contradictions, man. All of us, man. So it depends on you. How are you built?
Right.
What's in you? Like, as much as I'm pro-black, look what I got on. Because I want to. This is what I want to wear. You understand? Right. This is hypocrisy. I'm a hypocrite. You understand what I'm saying? But I'm not going to let
we're gonna get rid of the term pro-black. We're gonna get rid of that.
Okay, but my thing is I'm for black excellence. I'm not a fan of black unity.
We're gonna get rid of black excellence too.
But I'm for black excellence. So whatever it takes.
What the fuck is black excellence?
Black excellence is someone, which you just said, who has their morals and values and ethics in a way that they are for the the promotion of us, like the higher standing, the
for the cause.
You understand? But you say it's basically I'm saying pro-black, but you say you don't want to use that term. So that's how I'm looking at it. If we put ourselves in a mindset of being able to give back, the ones who want to educate the community, their children, the people closest to us, instead of giving them what they didn't have, they teach them what they didn't know. So they can be ready and prepared for down the future. Because if you think about it, that's what supremacy did.
I just wanted to create some terms that we can create, and that was put upon us. Black excellence was put upon us to say that they are different than the other black people. Pro-black was put upon us to say, oh, you talking all that militant stuff, you must be super pro-black. That's what you used to call the Nation of Islam and Malcolm X and all that. So we just took it and put it on each other. And then nigga was given to you. We didn't create that. And then black person was created to you. We Africans don't even use it. So like I don't know. I just want us to be human beings, even though they're going to be even though people are going to recognize us as black men. I get that, but if black excellence is doing the right thing, then why everybody else get a fucking pass of being excellent off the beat?
I don't think they get a pass, Marlon, man. I just think it's more or less some people realize that's just how they move and how they operate. Like me arguing, if I meet Math Hoff and start arguing, man, why blah, 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 I'm wasting my time, man. I don't got nothing against that cat. If that's how he moved, that's how he moved. But if I don't agree with how he moved, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna educate my sons, my community. You know what I'm saying? My circle. You dig? And then you know what I'm saying? We're gonna put the correct energy, the correct ethics, the correct mindset that more people will latch on to it, so we can continue to build further down the road. Now, it might not be on the level of supremacy, but if I can get through the people who understand that down the line is more important as you get yourself together, then we can start to make a dent. Because
I know what you're saying. I just wanted to challenge you on that. You're talking about being a man with standards and being a man of morals and values. I just wanted to challenge you on the way you labeled it, but I agree with you.
Yeah, because when I do my research, I realized what supremacy was doing, Marlon. When they was putting plans in motion, they were saying, I might not be here to live it out, but in this amount of years, this, that, why can't we do that? I'm not saying be supremacist. What I'm trying to say is they was thinking down the line. They was thinking further ahead, so they was educating and putting everybody with the tools and equipping them for doing that. So what we seeing now is a microcosm of that being put in place. This is why they're able to gentrify neighborhoods so fast. Because these plans ain't just started yesterday. These plans were put in motion in the 50s, the 60s, the 70s.
Long
now
time.
It's like, all right, let's start putting them this, that, and the other. It ain't, you know how they putting up buildings and stuff now?
Yeah.
They ain't just vote on this last Christmas.
You know how to do that is you gotta have power. In order to get power, you gotta be able to infiltrate the government. When I say infiltrate, I'm not saying in a way of negative. I'm saying become members of Congress and Senate. There's still only 2 black senators, Tim Scott and Cory Booker. You have to, and the Senate really run the country. That structure of power are not going to allow us, but we need to, like what Tom just said, he just started in the last couple of years getting interested in politics. Black men need to be so heavy into politics and civics the way they are with hip hop music. Because all of the legislation and all of the power and all the control is in Washington, D.C. And it's with your local politicians. We can complain about them all day, but if you want to really change that, you got to do it the way Lyndon B. Johnson and them did it.
But that's the education that I'm talking about, Marlon, providing that instead of like with my sons, my circles, instead of getting y'all what I didn't have, I teach y'all what I didn't know. You understand? This is my mindset. I ain't saying it's right or wrong. They're going to put in the White House who they want to put in. Let's just keep it a buck.
Right.
But the local, like you said, I want to make sure if I get caught with a nickel bag of weed, am I going to do 50 years or am I going to get probation? We have a better, opportunity to leave our mark on that. I'm agreeing with you with that. So if we get educated on that, we get educated. A lot of these states got laws back from the 1800s that no one has challenged. They can go in the city hall, challenge, or be like, we need to veto or amend. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't want to get educated on that. But you hit it on the head. If we do that, then that's the start that I'm talking about. That can help.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're 100% right. I like to transition to something because I think that because I mentioned hip hop, I want to transition into. Do you guys think that Dr. Umar has said that he feels that that hip hop has done nothing for the black community, and I think it's a loaded question because hip hop is complicated, right? Because it's new, it's a journey, but it's also been pimped by what? Capital companies. That bad. So my question to you guys: has hip hop done more harm to black people than been more like a benefit or help black people? Go.
I don't think it did harm. I actually think it helped because you take like a NWA. When they came out, they basically was talking about what was happening in the community. So over here, I mean, we didn't have the technology where we have now, where when something happens, it's trending like seconds after it happens. So with the music, with NWA, with Public Enemy, with KRS One, X Clan, they was teaching us. They was teaching us a lot of this stuff where when we didn't look at it on TV, it was actually pumped in our ears constantly because it was stuff that you can dance to, but they was also so teaching you. Mm-hmm. So now what happened is, like you said, here comes the bag. But even it was the bag back then. It was really the bag back then too, because now you had those record companies that took those chances on rap music, and they made a lot of money from it. But they also knew that they didn't know the full legal stuff on when they signed them contracts. You see what I'm saying? So I have to basically, or they found a way, I feel, to basically say, okay, I'm going to let you teach, but then at the same time, I'm going to keep a leash on you. So when you like Ice Cube, let's take it, since I'm talking about NWA, when he basically keyed in on, all right, yo, this ain't right. What happened? He left the group. They started going after each other. Who was still making the money then?
He wasn't leaving because of morals and values. He left because of money.
He left because of the business. Once he found out, he was smart. He was smart enough to pay attention to it, even with him trying to tell everybody in the group, this is not right. It's not right, y'all. And they, no. Until when? Until when it was too late for them. And then, I mean, Dre did good because he was a producer. But at the same time, it's like when you try to tell our people something, they don't want to listen. They don't want to listen. So, getting back to the question, I think rap has always been good for the black people. Now, what I'm seeing now with these young kids, that now they're using their music to basically put them away.
So all of the hoes, bitches, champagne on women, young kids at home who is repeating this stuff. They're not, when we were growing up, we saw more of women being ladies. You didn't see. Now you got there. You don't even see ladies anymore. Like what is that? That's
No,
like
everybody's doing this twerking thing.
It's going to be like bones in museums. They're going to say this is what a lady was. Like, because they don't make them anymore. Like, they're all doing these things that is so ratchet and hood, and it's promoted through music. When you turn on black radio, there are no love songs in R&B. When I was growing up, we used to always, the Icy Brothers and Earth, Wind and Fire, and all these guys made me want to fall in love, bro.
Yeah, but I mean, you got to think that the times has changed. I mean, it's with me even being a DJ, I agree with you. There was the Isley Brothers, there was this, but even in the business aspect, they took away the A&Rs.
So what good? I know. Okay, so I get that. So what good is a music? What good is a music if it's constantly reflecting on negativity?
But
what good is it is that it sells. What good is it is that it's manipulative. What's good is it is that someone's going to live their life and kill somebody, and we're going to collect on that insurance claim, or somebody's going to go to jail, and we're going to make money off that because we all invested in jail. So that's what it is, man. It's like supremacy they fear us so much that they study us, and
Right.
somewhere along the line, that's they all had to come together and be like, look, look, man, because we all just like you, Ozzy Brothers, Earth, Wind and Fire, my favorite band, LTD, like all of them. But somewhere along the line, they was like, you know what? They are telling their story, but let me start getting a whole bunch of untalented people and just throw them the bag and have them conflict against the real ones. But that's all it takes. You mean to tell me that when I was growing up in elementary school, they made it seem like 3 white men went to Africa and got 600 black people to agree to come on a boat. That's how they made it seem like it was being taught to us. And the only way you can get that many people, black people on the boat, is that it had to be black people helping. So to me, somewhere along the line, I don't know the history. This is what I feel. They got somebody who would just rather take the bag over the message and just say, here, do that. So, because remember when they had beefs and come at people who were the less talented, we just beefed them up. The studio put money behind the less talented more. And now it set a precedent saying, oh, you want to do this? Well, we don't need all that realness. We just need this. You know what I'm saying? And then and now look where we are. So it's very rare that we got somebody who would still drop messages. But that was really important, man. Public Enemy, NW, we loved them, man. Yeah. We needed them.
But they're not pushing it no more. They're not pushing.
When you say they, Chuck, when you say they,
meaning the industry. The industry. Why you think that everybody sounds the same?
So my question. So answer this for me. Let me reframe it. Do you think that hip hop has benefited us when the puppet master, which is the industry, has chose to use it as propaganda?
How it benefits us to me is you don't know someone's financial situation, man. We have no right to tell anybody how to pay their bills, take care of their family. We don't know their upbringing or what they've been through. But what I'm saying is that somewhere along the line, when they cross that threshold and they start to get a little bit of buzz, something happens to them that they're not that same person that came through that threshold, man. You understand? That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Right.
That's a fact.
Right.
Money changes everybody up.
But also even with this technology now, where I mean, look at Tory Lanez. He's in jail and sold his album from jail, got all that money. You see what I'm saying? So
who got all the money?
Tory Lanez.
No, but who got all the money?
It's Tory Lanez.
Right, but since he's in jail, who's getting it?
I mean, it's in his estate. You know, but he cut out the middleman. So now it's what they're watching him. You know, that's like I can't knock these younger people, younger generation with the way that they're moving now with what the world has put in our face as far as with this social media stuff. You don't need a record company now to basically get your stuff out there. You don't need all of that.
I wish more of them would do that, like take control, like a Chance the Rapper, and just take a, no pun intended, a chance on yourself.
Right.
Bet on yourself. You know what I'm saying?
But a lot of them are doing that. A lot of them have done it. I mean, Soulja Boy, when he came out with the ringtones, he was that's how he was making his money. So now the industry is saying, well, damn, we put this out there. Now what can we do? Go ahead.
No, I just wish we had like our own FCC that we can govern ourselves. We don't govern ourselves.
Well, we can't because we're not coming together with all the money that's being made. And here we go again with the training. With all the money that's being made, we didn't come together like they came together to put all of this together. Now, follow their blueprint.
I gotta agree to disagree on that one.
Follow their blueprint.
I gotta agree to disagree on that one. I don't. This notion, I think we just have to always agree to disagree. This notion of people all on the same page and getting along, it's just not true. There was a lot of
I didn't say that. I didn't say that everybody's supposed to get along, but they get along. The industry gets along enough to keep making that money.
And that's the industry, and that's the people in the industry.
That's to the point with the world too. Look. I mean, I'm looking at the politics now, and how they come at each other for when they're running. They tear each other the hell down, like, whew, all to basically let it boil down to two people to represent Democratic and Republican.
I mean, that's identity politics, though. We can talk about. That's what they. I mean, that's all. I think we're talking about a lot of different things now. I hear.
But you see what I'm saying? It's, to me, it's not. And I'm going to say this again. If all this money is being made by these rappers, black rappers, whatever, follow the blueprint. I don't know what else I can say. Follow the blueprint. I mean, look at Byron Allen. He has a lot of damn TV stations. You know how many problems that they gave him? What you see what I'm saying? But as you said, Fox, this and that, they it's to me just think differently. You need to be trained. It's not that you're not making the money, you're not using it right.
But listen, all right, let me try to say this. If we constantly have that mindset, after a while, they're going to always feel like we need some type of parenting.
It's not, but...
Go ahead. You got to let me finish.
Go ahead.
I don't feel like we need that type of parenting. I feel like we just need to be able to govern ourselves. If they're not going to allow us to govern ourselves, they're going to make sure they still have that power, because 99.9 of all the airwaves are still owned by them. And the whole power structure in D.C. is going to be the same way. Nobody's ever going to show you how to take their job.
How can I say this?
What I'm hearing, can I tell you what I'm hearing from you? You know how you go to McDonald's and they do an order and they say, tell me what I ordered, and you have to repeat it. Can I repeat what I'm hearing from you?
Repeat it.
What I'm hearing from you is, what you're saying is, all the rappers, all they need to do is follow the blueprint of what the industry is doing and do it themselves. So is that what kind of what you said? I'm paraphrasing.
Somewhat, yeah.
So what I'm saying to you is, the real power structures and distribution. They're never going to give you that kind of power.
But you don't need the distribution, and it's already been proven.
No, yes you do. You will need the distribution. These companies we're using on the internet, who you think own them?
Okay, then. So why can't you start your own?
Okay, and then didn't Jay-Z try to start Tidal or something like that?
Start a Tidal and then sold it.
Even Spotify, none of these guys can compete with Apple. Why is Apple able to make...
Okay, but Apple, so here we go. Apple is a big company. Apple has a lot of different departments in Apple. We have Apple phones, we got Apple watches, we got earbuds. You understand what I'm saying? So
let me give an example of Tyler Perry has a studio. So everybody loves that he has a studio. Tyler Perry, some Marvel movies use his studios in Atlanta. Tyler Perry doesn't have any distribution though, so he still need their theaters. Without their theaters, which is their distribution of film, without Netflix, which is their distribution of film,
that's just the money. You know, you could start your own TV station or whatever, your own app. You could start that now. You can start that distribution. How? When the factor of you can have people just go and download your app.
Where are you going to get the app from? It comes from a distribution. That's Apple. That's who else download app? You're not just going to
okay. So
go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm listening.
You just can't just create an app and not still need their distribution.
How the distribution for
you? If you create an app, you're still going to need Apple, or you're going to need Google. You're still going to, and we don't own any of that. So
no, we don't. We don't. But who's to say that we can't do it? This is what I'm saying. To me, it's like we want to come up with these excuses on the factor of, well, they own this. Yeah, they do own it. They own it. How did they get it? How did they get it? Even let's take it back to even when CDs and
follow the money,
all that stuff was being done.
Follow the money, and you'll find out.
Right. So my thing is, you're making money.
No,
these rappers. If let's get back to rappers, these rappers now is making way more money than when Public Enemy and all of them was out. And they have proven the factor of I can eliminate that middleman, which is the company of making my money.
They're making their money still on this Wi-Fi, which we don't own. This internet, we don't own the Wi-Fi. You don't own any of that. Even Facebook and WhatsApp and iCloud, they're all. You know why they want to shut TikTok down? Because TikTok is the only one where their algorithm is not controlled by Wall Street.
My point exactly.
And guess where TikTok is?
TikTok's still up.
No, but guess where it's at?
Where is that?
China.
Okay, but they have their own.
But but listen, it's in China. It's not even American. And you know why our government want to control it? Because that's what they do, control the distribution. And what I'm telling you, if you think some black guys are going to be able to do something that even China is having a hard time with, I'm not saying nothing's impossible. I'm just telling you, don't think it ain't never tried to be done.
Listen, just like the brother said right here. He said, even if I don't see or reap the rewards, you got to start somewhere.
I'm not.
You have to start somewhere. So this is my thought pattern. If I start something, I probably won't be here to see it. But if somebody comes along and continues it, they did it. That's part of their blueprint. When I used to do a show hearing about Walmart and all this stuff, how they start. Even Apple started out of a garage. They fired Steve Jobs, fired him a couple of times.
Look, Chop, I'm not disagreeing with you. All I'm saying to you, brother, is there's so many angles and layers to what you're saying. Like, you make it sound so easy, even when you look at.
I didn't say it was easy, Marlon. I'm just saying we have to start.
Okay, you're saying that over and over, but let me try. If you look at, you could take what LL was doing with Rock the Bells. He did a huge interview with Charlamagne where he said the reason he started was for the same reason you said. LL should own Def Jam. Russell Simmons sold it to who? He sold Def Jam to who? Didn't he sell it to Sony?
Okay, he got the bag. He got the bag.
And so I can go down the list. Madam C.J. Walker sold why? Because Revlon was going to take her business away. Oprah was forced to interview Sarah Palin and said she got in the shower for like 2 days and said, I'm leaving, I'm just going to start my own network. Even she, with her own network, need their airwaves. Tyler Perry goes to BET, but he's releasing on Netflix and Amazon because of whatever obstacles he's having, instead of him opening his own streaming service or own distribution. Want to know why? Because that source and power is so next level that they'll just try to find a way to buy you out. I'm not saying nothing's impossible because it's been done already. James Brown owns his own stuff. What Don Cornelius did before Oprah, I think, should be studied. What Berry Gordy did with $800 should be studied. If Berry Gordy was white, it would be a monument of him and a statue that would be somewhere because we have done it. I just get sensitive, and I did it with Lawrence, and I'm doing it with you. I just get sensitive when we say we dumb ourselves down when you make comments like, we don't do this, we don't do that. It's been done. And when Berry Gordy was you know why he moved to Detroit? He moved to Detroit because Los Angeles Epic Records and CBS Records said they would start taking on his artists. They said, y'all can leave that snow. You come to LA with your variety show, you can compete with the Osmonds, you can compete with Sonny and Cher, and you got the sun all year round. Leave Barry. So you know what Barry did? He packed up and fucking left Detroit. Detroit been suffering ever since. And then he go to LA, and what'd he do? he think he can go out there and compete with the big dog. So they was like, all right, you want to fuck with us? We shutting this movie down right now. So that's why he opened up his own Gordy Films, and that's how you got Lady Seen the Blues, The Wiz, Mahogany. It's been done.
So okay, so you proving my point. You got it's not gonna be easy.
I disagree with you. I disagree with you saying how we don't do things. I disagree with that. We do.
Well, I mean, I'm looking at now. Okay, maybe let me clarify that as far as now, where I'm not seeing that. If you had the Barry Gordy's mind frame of some of these people now, okay, you want to stop me, then I'm going to go do this. Instead of saying, oh well, okay, they threaten you or say whatever, then you just want to back off. Stand up on your own. We are the goods. You understand what I'm saying? That didn't stop Barry Gordy. That didn't stop him at all. What you said with $800, they got more money now than what that man had to start with. And look what he created.
Yeah. Oh no. I mean, listen. The Motown know well, but he also sold too. He also got bought up like Madam C.A. Walker, like Oprah.
Yeah, but the whole thing is, but they knew.
But when you think you got money. Jay-Z said it best. He said he thought he was rich and had money until the owner of Barclays Center invited him to a hotel in Manhattan. He thought he had been to every hotel in Manhattan to realize he ain't done nothing in Manhattan. Because he couldn't his money wasn't.
Yeah, his bracket was lower than that person, which
and they tossed him out. Then Usher tried to get in. They tossed him out because our money. Chris Rock said it best. He said, "You think Oprah Winfrey is rich?" He said, "If Bill Gates had Oprah money, he would jump out a window."
Yep.
You gotta have that. When I say resource and power, it's like you've never seen before that they have. It's so crazy that they allow an American company to make our phones in China for the very reason. The only way they're able to do that is because somebody in Washington, D.C. is getting the bag. That's the only way.
It's always going to come back to the bag.
NRA is able to control everything. Want to know why? Hey, man, everybody in Congress get their own private island, and all your kids go to college for free. Just make sure you don't mess with my gun. That power structure is crazy, man. You wanna know what power look like? When Donald Trump get to say anything and have all these felonies and still run for office.
Of course, because we know any other person would have been in jail. Period. I get it. I get it. I understand it from even watching the politics. Well, you a convicted felon, and you're still running. Yeah, you're still running for presidency. That's crazy to me.
Right.
That's real crazy to me. And honestly, I'm going to say I think politics is politics, but I don't think he's going to jail.
No.
I don't think he's going to jail.
No. But listen, man, me and Lawrence talk about this all the time. I understand your frustration with how we operate, but then when you go down that rabbit hole, you start to see why we operate the way we do it. And then you start to really hear that there were stories. It's almost like when you learn about plantations and a lot of slaves and you go, okay, why would they let themselves do this? And then you start to watch something like Many Rivers We Crossed, done by Henry Gates, and they talk about all the revolts and revolutions that they did have that you don't even hear about. There was one in New Orleans where the guys, some Africans, used to walk down the street and hit drums, and that would tell all the other people what was getting ready to go down.
Right.
And Henry Gates said how when you hear rap music and certain drums, those beats, how it has vibrance and it talks to us. And they made playing drums illegal. Those laws after Nat Turner that they started creating is why we always are broken up at corners and stuff and congregate. Like if you congregate, like you having some type of party or meeting or Black Panther, is why they always congregate that, because it is to make sure it's not a revolt that's getting ready to happen. They are when they I shouldn't say they allowed, but when that freedom was granted, that's how you had things that happened like the Great Revolution in Haiti and stuff like that. So that fear goes into legislation for them, and when it goes into legislation, you start to see why. You have the type of policing you have, which was created off of slave you know, it was called slave patrol. Police come from slave patrol. You know, slaves who are walking around. If you didn't have wear an ID that showed who owned you, you were going to jail. Or if I wore a tag that said Randolph, oh, you Randolph property. You hurry up and get to it, because if he was to mess with me, you got a problem with Randolph because property. And that's why majority of the lynchings happen after the property, after we were free, because you no longer had value. You only had value when you was property. When you didn't have value anymore, then we'll just lynch you every day, low hanging fruit. But you know, not to get into this depression. I think we're all saying the same thing. I just think that I can take ownership. I get sensitive when it comes to our people being labeled, and then I get sensitive about people when they say we don't work together. When I literally sit here and watch how, you know, like I'll take for instance comedian Godfrey. He goes on Shay and he says black people can't even do crime right. They can't do nothing right. And I'm boiling listening to this Nigerian talk like this. When the only reason, 50 Cent said this morning on Breakfast Club, he said the only reason you hear anything like organized crime is to always say that Italians are smart and that everybody else is not smart at crime. He said, but BMF was way smarter than them. But they're going to they get
less.
He said they don't get listed as organized crime though. So it's these labels that we only continue to regurgitate.
I agree.
And then we do, and when we do it to ourselves, then they done their work. They get to sit back and go, "You can't call me racist." He said it. We got Byron Donalds in every corner.
And then when we succeed at it, they make examples out of the next man who might have nothing to do with the situation, man. And that's the thing. Once we show how intelligent, smart we really are,
once we show them up,
we gotta pay for, you know what I'm saying, y'all incompetence. That's how they do us.
Yeah. And I want to be clear for people who watch this when we say that we ain't nobody here talking about we ain't talking about no particular people. That we talking about people who have the power to create legislation that is wrong. People who have the power.
Supremacy. We talking about supremacy.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot of people that's trying to get away with not being attached to anything that's called supremacy. So that's why I wanted to say it like that, because I noticed like Bill Maher, a lot of those guys are trying to challenge that word because they're hearing it so much. So they're trying to say this ain't no supreme. There's no. So what happens is that people get to throw rocks and hide their hands. You feel me? You got a lot of that going.
If you keep hearing something so much, if somebody keep telling you trash on the basketball court, if everybody telling you that, what are you? I just talking about within just the game. Come on, if everybody is saying it, so if everybody is saying this word, then what is it?
Yeah,
you're just making it up out of thin air. Okay, all right.
Yeah. Hey, look, I'm not an apologist for anybody. I just know that when I used to use that word on Facebook, one of my good friends had said, you know, you might want to kind of phrase that as white supremacists, because the people who practice and believe in that are supremacists. And that way, because they don't want to be categorized with it, and they don't all want to be categorized with it. And I get it. Everybody is sensitive about labels. I get it. I get it. Listen. You know, I don't want to be attached to, you know, what we just got through talking about, propaganda, right? I don't want to.
Well, let me tell you, you know what I'm saying, my perspective on that. Muhammad Ali said one time, man, because they were trying to, you know what I'm saying, like him, do you have a problem with white people? He was being interviewed. He said, if 10,000 rattlesnakes was coming at me to bite me, I don't have time to figure out, well, who's the good rattlesnake? Who's the one that's not going to? So what I'm saying is that I get what you're saying. You want to stay away from labels. I just painted a broad stroke, because if you ain't that, it's going to show. Because they paint us as a broad stroke. I promise you they paint us as a broad stroke. So that's why I do that.
And that's a great way to get ready to round this up, because that's that propaganda machine. And that propaganda machine only works in one way. It doesn't work both ways. It works.
Oh, it's a one-way street. Yes, sir.
It's a one-way street. Yeah, the propaganda machine is a one-way street, which allows everybody else to be silent and have great lives. But if we don't voice and cry and complain and shout and yell, our life will continue to stay where it's at. Change only comes from opening your mouth. Education only comes from opening your mouth. You know what I'm saying?
And all that brings about pain, and that's the problem, man. People are afraid to go through that pain, man. You got to learn to recondition your mind to have that pain hurts good. I know it's easier said than done, but that's what it is, man. You know what I'm saying? Because, all right. My bad.
No, you good. I just want us to maybe next week we'll do this. I think that talking about solutions when it comes to the propaganda is important because most people I talk to about propaganda, they feel like I'm talking to myself. They feel like everything that's about propaganda is all bullshit. When I talk about all the shows you watch on Hulu and Netflix and everything, is just constantly showing black men as monsters, showing them as weak, not showing them as leaders, not showing them in any capacity as good fathers, not showing them as good anything. They're not good. We're horrible at everything. And that was Godfrey's point. Godfrey was pretty much reiterating all these things we're bad at. And then you have Shay Shay who goes on his show every week and says, why do we do this to our own people? Like if we are regurgitating these horrible
but he does it too, man. You know, I used to dig Shannon Sharp, but he does it too, man. He don't get no pass from me. You know what I'm saying?
not giving him a pass. I'm saying even he does it.
Right.
I'm saying he does
I know
like
you
that.
wasn't. I just wanted to, if this goes viral, I'm standing on, I'm saying that him, Stephen A. Smith, man.
Even another one.
Horrible, man.
Whenever we regurgitate, repeat BS, and this was my thing with Toure on Facebook, and I said to him, I said, you know, by saying black people emotional all the time, that was a label put on us to disregard your feelings, and it's a racist trope. And he disagrees. That's not a racist trope. Half the thing, I would say 95% of the things we repeat on to each other, on ourselves, is given to us from a propaganda machine. 100%. They're the ones that say we don't work together. They're the ones that say that we are our own problem. They're the ones that say that you're broke because of you. I'm telling you, 50 years from now, they're going to say that the slave ships was cruise ships and everybody jumped on them freely. So,
with chains, huh?
Yeah, no.
They gonna say they all was carnival ships. I'm telling you.
Enough it on.
Chains was the label to get your drinks for free. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that was the wristband. The wristband, huh?
Wristband chain. Those was wristbands for free drink.
Exactly.
Oh gosh.
I'm telling you, man. It's just and you know who that power structure is? It's the same power structure that is extreme people in government that wants to get rid of DEI. Affirmative action. They want to get rid of history books. They want to get rid of anything that makes
critical race theory, right?
Yeah, that crazy. Yeah, it's those guys. If we can list those guys, which is easy to do, then I would definitely give them the label gladly because they continue to vote on these things that are against our interests. You understand what I'm saying? And they're all on the MAGA side. They're not on the Democratic side. They're on the MAGA side. You understand what I'm saying? I just think that civics, education, ignorance, misinformation, the internet has made it worse. And I'm just glad, man, I'm sitting here, man, every Wednesday night, man, with three beautiful men, and we are chopping it up, having these conversations, man.
Man, I appreciate it, man. I love it, man. You know what I'm saying? Because I learn something new every episode. And that's another thing. I'm not afraid to learn, and I'm not afraid to say I want to learn because that's how you not stay stagnant. By continuing to learn. Right. You have to unlearn what everybody said earlier about how we've been programmed. I used to vote Democrat because my grandmama said so. I didn't do no research. My grandmama said vote Democrat and be a Christian. Why? Because I said so. I had to do my own research to see what works for me, what fits for me. Right. You understand? So we have to unlearn what we was programmed to relearn what works for us. So we can be able to learn, relearn, and then educate. So that's how I am.
It's all about unconditioning the condition. Everybody's conditioned. How do you uncondition the condition?
Right.
So the Democratic thing, I would just touch on that and say, hey, we all became Democratic after Lyndon B. Johnson started passing the Fair Housing Act of the Civil Rights Act of voting. So it made sense to vote your interests. We always voted our interests. When Abraham Lincoln signed the proclamation, then we all voted that interest. And black men were able to vote before white women. And that was, that was a problem. And that's when you have the first black Congress in Florida, in the state of Florida. And that's what caused all those problems in Reconstruction. But we voted Republican because it made sense to vote your interest. Why would I vote Democrat when they were the Southern Dixies that were mostly the Klan? So you're always going to go back and forth because it's your interest. Right. So the real question is with that is how come the other side, MAGA side, has no plan for your interests but always get a pass? We focus more on giving Democrat a vote for nothing, but the other one is giving you zero. Zero. And they know they don't have to give you nothing because it's a party that's all about white Christian males. And it's a hands-made tale party.
And they stick together.
Well,
or
Christians.
they start giving the bag to the Stephen A. Smiths, the Shannon Sharps, and the Candace Owenses, man. You know what I'm saying?
They get it back to Candace too. But Christians stick together. Look, I know a lot of black Christians who they vote for MAGA. They're one issue voters who vote for MAGA because of abortions. They're not the other stuff they don't believe in. And you have people that's very wrapped into their religion and their faith, and you're not going to get them out. They believe that MAGA is the second coming. They believe that in order to have a warrior, that like you have in the Bible, you got to have somebody who's a fighter, and they see him as a fighter against all evil. So they're conditioned as well. Good luck trying to uncondition them. All right. On that note, man, hey, I just want to say to the people out there, man, I appreciate y'all checking out our 4th episode. This was good tonight because the brothers, you know what's crazy? Like, we'll start writing the show, and then somehow we just don't even follow it. You know why? Because when we're starting to converse with each other, we start to really have conversations from the heart. And I think that we're all doing it in our living rooms, in our cars, in our locker rooms, and at the water cooler at our workplace. But are we having it? Let's say like this show is a huge water cooler where we're all getting together. You can agree, you can disagree. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is I'm gonna go with what Lawrence said and Charles, and I'm gonna let them have the last word. What I'm gonna say to you is, are you a good person? Don't justify your bad shit through your religion. Don't justify your bad actions through your politics. There's only one side, good and right. You either on that side or you on bad and you're on evil. You can't say, let's lock up and kill Mexicans and put them in cages and turn around and say you love Jesus in the morning. Something about that doesn't sound right. You can't say, okay, we know they're black men. We know they need an opportunity, this, and that. But you know what? I'm going to turn my back on any opportunity to help them because they brought it on themselves. And then you go to church on Sunday. You have to ask yourself, is this the right thing? Is it a good thing? And if it's not, why are you still practicing things that keep you in a light of evil? You have to ask yourself that. And if that's who you are, then who am I to say anything? I see you on the battlefield for good and evil. Y'all know who I am. I'm going to give the last word to my guys, man. Chalk, anything you want to say to the people?
Just tune in, share, and subscribe.
Tune in, subscribe. I love it. We definitely need the subscribers, so we're gonna get on that. Anything, Lauren, LO, man, I appreciate and love you, man. We look like we might have to recruit you, man. I think
all I got to say is good. All I got to say is tune in and subscribe. That's it. All right, and if I get recruited, then I'll be ready for this battle. Let's get it.
Man, we might have to recruit you, man, because the chemistry for you to come right on in and not be stuck in any kind of way and be able to hang with the conversations, man. I think this might be a fix for you, baby.
I appreciate that. I
think this might be a fix for you, and then we all gonna figure out how to get the bags. Because all this is practice for us, but it's also good because it's just the beginning, and then we start to go, okay, guys, let's sit down and this is what we need to do, and then this next level.
Yep.
That's all it is.
Yep.
All right, gentlemen, y'all have a good night. I want to thank everybody for joining the Staff Meeting Podcast. Marlon Randolph, love y'all. Peace out.
All right, y'all.
All right, peace, bro.